First off, messaging is always people's biggest issue. And if your messaging isn't on point, then you're always going to lose in marketing, whatever strategy you have. Next point is that you're renting, you're not buying. I personally believe in buying. If you have an organic presence you
That's an
create,
interesting perspective. Huh.
you own that. You can create a
Right.
following. But if you just do the paid ads, it's renting and it's a short-term gain. And then once you turn it off, then it's all turned off. The value of ads is you can go fast, but then long term, you have a burden and you have a cost. The value of organic approaches to marketing is if you can build a following, then the cost is harsh at the front and it is so small at the back end.
I'm Greg Forzani with Forzani Business Education, and this is the More Profit, Less Stress podcast, where we provide insights for more profit and less stress in your business now with the purpose of turning it into a valuable asset. Okay, welcome to the More Profit, Less Stress podcast. I'm Greg Forzani, and our guest today is Jeremy Wagner and from Impact Social. However, it's spelled Impact in capital letters, so the actual pronunciation is Impact Social, based on the spelling.
Right.
We're excited to have Jeremy, and the reason we asked him is two reasons. One, Jeremy is a client of ours, a new client, new business, like in general, new business, new client of ours, and just to hear the journey, fast ramp up, see through his eyes on how to create some successes and stuff. But then the second reason is Jeremy, and we'll get him to explain it, but is in the, we'll say, digital marketing space. And Jeremy, you can correct and define that how you want in a second. As anybody who's watched our podcast would know that we are advocates of the digital marketing space, however, extremely critical of the space, because for the most part, I don't think people in this space understand like how to actually get results, like what companies can afford. What we have found impressive with Jeremy's company, Impact Social, is we actually use them ourselves. And it's the first time anyway, I can say in 16 years where like it's making sense. We're getting results. Things are happening, which is, like I said, we're pretty critical of this industry usually. So it's pretty cool. So welcome, Jeremy. Maybe give us a little, what does your company do? Where are you located? And what's kind of the geographic service area? Like who can you service?
Great questions. So we make businesses famous through social media management done for you. We stretch beyond that. We literally go to AI and we ask, how do we make them famous? How do we make them profitable through marketing? What do we have to do to make them succeed and make this something that is a worthwhile investment? Because as someone who struggled investing in others and not finding return, that was just something that I became passionate about. I want to see people have a return. And so my goal is always to help you actually make more money through marketing. What a great idea.
Yeah,
But
right.
it does work
Wow.
well. Yeah, I know, right? Might as well put all the time I've invested and all the $28,000 I've invested into just all the education I've gotten over the years into use. So we do that. And I'm outside of Savannah, Georgia. We can service people worldwide, wherever you're at, whoever you are, we can help you. We'll find you and we'll make you famous. If you're up for it, if that's your goal. Normally it's just people's goal that they just want to make more money. And so we normally help them with that.
And on the make famous, like for someone listening to this, they're like, well, what do you mean like by that? Expand on
Yeah.
that and maybe why you use those words.
Well, I've helped more than 1,200 different clients at this point, and I've helped people to literally become famous. And it's a story that where 10 years ago, a long time ago, with a less white beard, I quit my job to try to make my 19-year-old brother a famous musician. I went all in. I made no money. And I just said, we're going to do this. We're going to go all in. And he literally became a famous musician. He got 400 million plus streams, got a record deal with Mr. Beast, the very first one Mr. Beast handed out. If you don't know who Mr. Beast is, he is the number one YouTuber in the world and has nearly 500 million plus subscribers on YouTube. And since then, I've been devoted to trying to make a significant impact in people's businesses and people's lives, just like I did in my brother's life, where his music reached people so deeply that people that were suicidal would comment on his songs, especially his song Lonely, about just the heartache of the soul. And they would say to him, Nathan, I was ready to kill myself. I had the plans in place, but I heard your music, I felt hope, and I'm choosing to live. And so that's why I created Impact Social. I have the dream of how do we make a significant impact in someone's life How do we turn influence into impact, but at the same time, make you famous in the process for something that's powerful and worthwhile? And that's what I've done.
That's cool. Like what you're saying is a big deal because and I have to assume it kind of plays into how you help them. It's hard to help people if they don't have a great message, right? If they don't come from an
Yeah.
honest, ethical place, or trying to help people, or like you said, make the world a better place, like leave it better than they started with. So if they don't have that, it even actually makes it harder for you to do your job, because then you're trying to do a kind of snake oil salesman pitch, right? Like the used car sort of pitch, and that just feels yucky to people watching it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. It's
It's tricky, but it's worthwhile. We've seen that person after person, like a client of ours now, I can't say their name, but they have 1 million plus subscribers, and they have such an incredible heart to help walk people through hard, difficult concepts, to expose darkness and walk people through how they can get into the light. Their literally whole goal is to just share wisdom with the world. And so we look for people like that. But we can work with anybody. We've helped people that are in every niche you can imagine, thing from a startup broke, I have no clue what I'm doing in business, help me, I'm drowning, to somebody that's a high level CEO, succeed with their company that's gone public. So you name it, we can bring your vision to life, and we do that through content creation. Everything. You could be Michael Jackson riding a Yeti through the Serengeti. Whatever you want to do. Content gets crazy now.
So tell us your business journey. What got you here, and what made you want to work with us?
Well, see, I had a crash in my business years ago. And again, I had another crash, and it wasn't often my fault. I've definitely done things where I've shot myself in the foot, but there were just systematic changes. I used to do something where I had a robot that would just get people followers all day, and it worked very well. I helped 1,000+ people to get followers by, it was a good time. We could get people like 2 to 500 followers a day. And it was just automated. A robot would do it. And that was no longer something we could do for a long time. I still can do it, don't recommend it, but it shifted. And so I had to reinvent myself again and again and again, because in my field, it changes constantly. Social media is
Yeah.
always shifting, changing. It's difficult. It's not easy. So I got stuck, and I wasn't sure how to bring on clients, wasn't sure the things to do to expedite my time, to be more efficient with time, with resources, with my team. And I had a lot of challenges I couldn't overcome. And so when I finally got the chance to meet Greg and Sandra, I was so thrilled to find people that actually could hold my hand and walk me through it. Because everyone else, mind you, I'd taken 13 master classes recently at this point within that last year. Everyone else just kind of told me, do this, do that, and good luck. Greg and Sandra were actually like, hey, if you just keep repeating the same things you're going to do, that's crazy. You need to make money. And you need to look at what's making
And that's
money
not a
and
bad
do
thing.
more of that. No, it's not. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You guys challenged me to do what is profitable and spend my time doing things that would produce profit again and again. And so I took the time after taking your 8-week profit accelerator course. It was a group course. It was really amazing, really powerful. Got my numbers figured out. I understood where my cost, my margin was, all of the details on the back end, what I should be pricing appropriately. I was very harshly underpricing. And when I started getting that in alignment, I found that, oh, I'm not as stressed because when I'm selling, it actually produces what it should. And I'm not ripping anyone off by any means. By all means, I'm actually helping people regardless of the price. I could probably raise my prices and still very much help people. And I found that when I took the time to evaluate with the numbers of everything, once I'd gotten everything in order, looked at this produced, this relationship is profitable, this networking group where I spent time was not profitable. I just dissected everything like Greg had told us to do. And I found out where I was making money and where I was not. And I had to make a lot of hard choices to quit the things that were unprofitable and to invest my time only into the things that were profitable. And then my business started taking off, and we 3x'd this quarter.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
cool.
it
X in a
was.
quarter. That's really cool. Sorry, I got to go
Technically a
back to
month.
something you just said. You had to make hard decisions. So maybe expand on that a bit, because I think what they see, and I think maybe people listening to this, they bump into hard decisions maybe every day, for sure every week, positively every
Mhm.
month, like difficult, hard decisions, right? It's like it hits you deep.
Yeah.
What do you suggest to people to you see now that you've made some, you're on the other side of it, you understand the process. I'm assuming you're more comfortable making harder decisions now. Like,
Mhm.
what would you say to someone that's shying away from that or hesitant, or every time it comes to a hard decision, they kind of go the other way, or like, what would you say to those people?
I just say, well, do you want to suffer continuously or do you want to get through it? And the freedom is taking the time to think through a wise, bold decision and do it. And I personally had to let go of, I was leading a group called the Silicon Valley Networking Group, has like 45,000 Eventbrite subscribers. It sounds great. It made me sound really important and it wasn't producing. So I had to just say adios, relationships and work, relationships with people that wanted to be my friend instead of get business done. I just had to shift those relationships. I had to break off agreements. I had to be bold. And the key thing that I stopped doing was no more shortcuts. So that really changed everything for us when I stopped taking shortcuts and started making hard decisions. Because Greg, you had talked in our group about hard decisions and how, when you run a business, you make terribly hard decisions and it's not for the faint of heart. You have to be courageous to be in this field and you got to get rewarded for that. I just took that and ran with it. And it's been very, very profitable and helpful in every way, not just my business, but my personal life all around.
Oh, cool. What do you mean by, because everybody's definition of this might be different. What do you mean by stop taking shortcuts? Maybe give an example or two that you're comfortable sharing, without giving away
Sure.
secret information, but just kind of help people understand what you mean by that.
I took a lot of shortcuts. Here's an example starting in middle school. I was homeschooled and found out my mom's password on the computer for our schooling program. And
There's a
the
shortcut.
password,
Hey, there's the
yeah,
answers.
yes, the password was Jesus saved, and he saved me from doing my homework for about 10 years. Terrible all around. But thank you, Lord. So, all that being said, I had to overcome a lot of character issues throughout my life of cheating all the way through school. And then it shows up later in life. So, I've had a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
instances in the business where it's difficult, it's challenging, and there's no Jesus saves password. You just got to do the hard work of profit planning, taking the time to make sure your numbers are in order. And Jesus ain't going to save you if you ain't doing the hard work and understanding, did I make money this month? How much money? How
Right.
much am I going to lose if I don't get on this? And so I've been intentional to follow up and it's been really difficult. And I've had to let go of a lot of personal heart issues like pleasing people. And I've had to just be okay with, you know what? I want to please everybody. I can't please people. I have to tell people, no, I can't get on that call with you. These are my terms. If you want to connect with me, then it's on a sales call and that's it. So it's been tricky, but it's been worthwhile to quit on shortcuts. And the profit really is a good reflection of what happens when you do that.
And and the old saying, you can't help others unless you're healthy yourself, so to speak, right? So what I'm
Yep.
kind of hearing you saying is you're able to help more people because you're healthy, your company's healthy, which
Yeah.
meant it came with some tough decisions and eliminating some shortcuts. So it's not a selfish thing
Mhm.
what you're saying, actually. If anybody's hearing you're selfish, I think it's the opposite. I think you're able to help way more people because of what you just said. I think I commend you for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was hard.
What I find is once people down their pricing, it gives them more clarity on who their customers or ideal customer. And once they do that, it seems like they're actually clients are able to gain more confidence to change their message as to who they're marketing to get their ideal client.
It did. It was very much tied because I walked around feeling like concerned, alarmed, afraid, like I was a failure. And it was rough because I knew I could do it. I had done it before. I just have had so many massive failures in my life, which is good. You want to fail big, you don't want to fail small.
Yep.
And I've let a lot of people down, millions of people down with my failures in a good way. I feel like a new person after seeing our business go up. I've had the confidence to say no to a lot more people. I've had the confidence to actually be bolder, louder, clearer in what I want to do and what I want to say. And I've seen that it looks good on me. It's a good look. think if you're listening, you should try it out. You'll like it.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people deal with anxiety and failure differently, a lot of business owners. And I guess, first of all, congrats because you're willing to admit that. So what would you say the biggest personal lessons, learnings have been for Jeremy, like the old Jeremy versus the new Jeremy?
My gosh, everything from the way I dress, the way I speak and communicate, I'm just so much more confident in my own skin. And there's just something about other people validating, not just with their words, but with their money and saying, you're worthwhile and what you're doing is good. And I believe in what you're doing. And I've really been blown away to see the impact that that has on my self-esteem and on how I approach everything every day. Before, when I was not succeeding, it was this frustrating pain of, gosh, well, if I keep failing like this, then my wife and I are going to run out of money and we're going to have huge issues and run into debt and this and that. And now it's like, well, if I don't get this deal or this doesn't go well or this person dislikes me, I'm still taken care of and I'm still in a good spot and I get to keep doing what I'm doing. And I really like what I'm doing. So that was the shift in me. And my wife, I got to tell you, I mentioned that personal side. She is thrilled and relieved. And I can't, for all the men listening out there, the security of your wife knowing that you're actually running a worthwhile, profitable business, your marriage will get better. She will be much happier and everything will just feel so much less tense. We've had the best time of our marriage the last few months ever. It's been
Hey, that's
amazing.
really cool. Very cool. And you have a baby on the way, right?
We do have a baby on the way. Next month, my wife's going to pop and we're going to have a little mini me, a little Jeremy Jr. I can't wait for him to pop out. Hope he looks like her, but I guess we'll find out. That's motivating as well, being a first time dad. Oh my gosh, I've never been more zoned in my whole life. I'm like harming my arms and wrists, typing so hard and focused for like 12 hours a day. I need to back off a little bit. But poverty and babies will help.
So you contribute these big changes from getting to know your numbers better in your business?
Yeah. Oh, that is huge because, otherwise you run blind, you're stressed, you don't know what's going on, you don't know where you're at, you don't know how to build. And then seeing not just where the numbers are, but seeing where the numbers are going on a trajectory, that was like changing, actually understanding, holy crud, I still am trying to fathom the change that has happened and what's going to happen in the next year because we built a proven repetitive system and I'm quite overwhelmed at the thought of where we're going to be in about a year's time because the skills I've learned keep working. It's not like they run out and everything's just going to go to kaput. It's actually working.
It's really interesting, right? I think a lot of people, so people that maybe don't own a business or people who are really struggling in business would look at someone who's having success, whatever that looks like, and go, oh, well, they're just lucky, or, oh, it was handed to them, or, oh, I don't know, whatever head trash they'll have. But I think you just nailed it. What they're not seeing is you sort of build a crystal ball of sorts, right? I mean, it's not like you can predict the future totally,
Yeah.
but you're estimating the future, right?
Yeah.
And you're making adjustments along the way, and you're putting things into your system to make it as predictable as you can. I remember, just to divert a sec, I remember when I was in my 20s, I was a buyer for a large family sporting goods business. I was responsible for like $60 million a year at cost. Like I bought $60 million a year and sold it for about $120 million a year. And like I had to build a crystal ball because you got hundreds of locations, you got tens of thousands of customers coming in to buy different equipment and whatever. How do you forecast and predict what they're going to buy? I mean, like it just doesn't make sense, right? Except I would do that. Like I would literally know from history, I got to have so many of
Mm,
those and these size curves and these color blends and these brands and these, because you're looking at history and then you're forecasting the future from it. And then you're adding your own little flavor into that, which you said earlier
yeah.
with digital marketing, things are changing. So you got to see what's changing and coming and you got to sprinkle that in. So if I saw a new brand, I'm like, okay, I got to test that brand, but I can't go full bore on that brand. I got to test it, see what happens. And I got to take money away from another brand and add that brand. And, and then as it changes, make bigger change. So same thing with what you do is social media. And you're in an industry that I think you were nice when you said it changes quickly. Let's be honest, it's changing by the day.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's
changing by the
insane.
day. So you got to forecast that. So it's a lot of work, right? And anybody thinking that's lucky or whatever is handed to you, that's not the way it works. But the good news is anybody in any business can build that crystal ball, so to speak, right? And then just that
Yeah.
crystal ball evolves and changes. And that's how it kind of interpret what's going on here. And it's powerful. It's really powerful and builds
It
confidence,
is.
right? You're calm in knowing you look at your crystal ball and know that it's a pretty good chance that's going to come true. But if it doesn't, I can pivot and change what the crystal ball says.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. No, we've made people famous on nearly autopilot for years. It's been pretty wild to just see that the same rules apply and people continuously are able to succeed. I had a girl last year, she's a Paralympian gold medalist, and we helped her to get 85,000 new followers in 6 months and 75
Wow.
million plus views. Her celebrity idol walked up to her and said, "Kat, I know who you are because I've been following you." And this is a girl, her celebrity idol. I saw her at Walmart on the sunscreen lotion box. So you know she was famous. But
Yeah, yeah.
I just have seen that you can repeat success over and over and over again, whatever field you're in, just like you're saying. So agreed, all around. Create your crystal ball and put it to work.
So what were you doing with your numbers before you started in our program?
Great question. I was loosely tracking our numbers, and there'd be times where for like 2 months, I just wouldn't have time to track the numbers because I didn't see the value in it. It was just for me like, oh, I just need to make more sales. And if I make more sales, we'll be in a better spot. But there was all of this anxiety attached to that. And I didn't understand how, if I really look at the numbers and have control over the numbers, I can see what's not working. And that can fix my sales problem because then I know, stop selling this. This isn't selling. This
Right.
product sucks. People don't like it, but people do want to become famous. So that's what I figured out as I took the time to track those numbers and just have like a quarterly review of that. And I found that those numbers really did shift how I spent my time, how I led my team, what direction to go in. A numbers fact based, numbers and facts leading you shifts everything because you're not just going by what you feel or think is a good idea. You actually know factually this is absolutely what has to happen because the numbers say so. So we're going to go with the numbers.
So many people will say this was hard to do. Was it hard for you to do?
Of course, everything's hard to do. My business burnt down so many times. I felt like a failure for years. All of this is hard to do. I have so many hardships I went through to get to this point. So hard to do. No one should be an entrepreneur unless you just can't do anything else in life. But if that's you, that you unfortunately are an entrepreneur, then you better do it right and you better put all that you have into it and make it worthwhile. That's my opinion.
Now, let's expand on that a bit because I agree with you. However, maybe paint a little light at the end of the tunnel on, listening to earlier what you said about how you're doing now, how you feel. You're excited, baby on the way. You're excited to get up for work. You're making money. Relationship with the wife's better. Like maybe give a little bit of a painted picture that you got to go through these hard times, but on the other end, is it worth it, right?
Yeah, well, I kind of wonder if if I had just hired you, I don't think I would have gone through the hard times. But that being said, yeah, once you do, the hard times end because you actually discipline yourself to learn and get good at just the smart things in business. Then you can get to where I'm at, where I'm excited to wake up. I'm excited to do
That's
what I'm
cool.
doing. I'm not stressed, and if I'm behind on my work, I don't feel like the world's going to end because I know I still am getting paid. It's fascinating how I like me more and I like my life more than I did 6 months ago all around. Plus, I'm really liking the island hopping that we get to do now, where we get to go and spend money and have fun. That part is what gets me excited. And we don't have to sweat it. It's okay. We can go get the nachos, get whatever I want. It's awesome. And with your guys' system, if you really do look at what's worked for you, which I'm sure if you've done this for years, there's something you're doing that's working.
Yeah.
The numbers just tell you go do more of that. It's pretty simple when it comes down to it. It's
Yeah.
just taking the time to track it. Or honestly, you could hire somebody from the Philippines for like $5 an hour to track your numbers. And there you go. Like you'll know where you're at if it's too hard for you to do. It's not that hard ultimately, but that really can make a difference. And it's so worthwhile.
So your life looks a lot different now than 6 months ago, which tells us that the program made big shifts in your business over a short period of time.
Yeah, it was after 3 months we started to cruise. So I think I joined in October, and then it went all the way starting in February where we just started just tripling, and we've hired more than 10 people now. So we've created jobs for all these
Wow.
other people, and it is kind of insane. We have a team now. We're actually like a real
Oh,
business, not just Jeremy's thing that he does. Good luck, Jeremy. Hope you do well with that. It's a real business. I have big boy boots now. That's how I walk out the front door.
that's fantastic. Maybe take a minute to talk a little bit more about it. Like marketing obviously needs to happen. Digital marketing is some of the marketing strategies are digital marketing. So that's great. We totally agree with that. The majority of digital marketing companies don't really deliver on what they do and generally don't understand what percentage of the revenue they bring in they should cost. Like they just don't get it. So all that aside, I'm setting the table for how we feel about digital marketing companies in general. This is so not great. But maybe talk just a little bit about what separates you. Like other than what you've already said, what makes you different than the rest of them a little bit?
Well, we don't put people in a box. So, for one, we actually evaluate what's going to make people money, not this is our service. Do you want it? Yes or no? That doesn't work. And I found that out very quickly. You might have a great solution, but we actually take the time to customize and listen to people and say, what is going to make you profitable? And it's usually one of a handful of things. Usually people want more leads, more sales, more exposure, or they need to develop their brand or their messaging or something along those lines. And we can help them to do that at scale. But it takes a lot of intentionality to listen on the front end to our clients and understand where their pain points are, where things are not going well, and what could make things profitable for them. And we walk them through that. And so actually, sometimes I just give clients a proposal and I say, this is our box per se of we can make you take off on social media and we'll do it all for you because that is the solution that we're fit for you. But sometimes like today, I had to spend over an hour to write up a proposal to understand this business, to do AI research and understand, well, what's made other people in this niche successful? What would make them most profitable fastest? And it's not always obvious. So sometimes it's our done for you networking solution where we hire a VA to go out and network on their behalf into Zoom rooms online and meet people and then just refer them. So they're not actually like telling people they work for them, but they'll refer them. And that's a fun product. But we just take the time to think of creative solutions like what could actually help you to succeed and achieve your bottom line and beyond. And when you take the time to listen, I found it gets people further than they ever could have thought. And it makes the campaign more profitable than you could have expected.
So the world with AI, it's changing crazy. But even just before AI, we'll say digital marketing, like organic, paid marketing, all that. Just like for most people, it's like this big, overwhelming, like, whoa, where do I go? What's going on? These people are telling me just paid marketing works in digital. These people are telling me organic only works. These people are telling me do both. In your expertise, give a little umbrella comment on all that.
I personally only do organic strategies. I do not do paid
Wow.
advertising. We could. We could always do a paid advertising strategy, but the only way in which I would do that is I would boost posts that performed organically. And the reason is because we know how to make people go viral. For instance, the girl that I helped last year that she got 85,000 followers, 75 million views, she got more than 250,000 of value worth of ads. And that's pretty good in
Yeah.
exchange for a $500 a month deal that we had with her. I think she was really happy about that.
Right.
I don't think the $3,000 was a sweat at that moment. But that being said, ads, I think it's 90% of people lose money nowadays. And there's a few problems with them. First off, messaging is always people's biggest issue. And if your messaging isn't on point, then you're always going to lose in marketing, whatever strategy you have. Next point is that you're renting, you're not buying. I personally believe in buying. If you have an organic presence you
That's an
create,
interesting perspective.
you own that. You can create a
Right.
following. But if you just do the paid ads, it's renting and it's a short term gain. And then once you turn it off, then it's all turned off. The value of ads is you can go fast, but then long term, you have a burden and you have a cost. The value of organic approaches to marketing is if you can build a following, then the cost is harsh at the front and it is so small at the back end. So, my encouragement to everybody, if you're thinking about which way to go, it could be both. It just depends on what you're doing. Like e-commerce, they need a lot of the paid advertising, but there's not many sectors where paid advertising is a great win. I have a friend making $1 million this year on it, but I prefer influencer marketing, which is cheaper because they're all broke normally. They don't make a lot of money being influencers, but they can have 1 million followers and need to pay for their coffee that morning. So you can pay them and then they can give you that outrageous traffic for such a low price. And that's what I help people do.
Boy, that's super interesting. So, like, I know we track our clients. To Jeremy's point, we track ROI by marketing strategy. And I know with my clients, only one, and we're talking like out of 30 clients, only one, or 20 at the moment, 28 or whatever clients, only one out of those 28 is the paid digital advertising paying off, meaning that the amount they're investing is an acceptable percentage of the revenue it's bringing in. Everybody else who tried it, it was too high a percentage. Therefore, that particular business was not profitable. Like that revenue was not profitable. To Jeremy, to validate your point, I'm saying with my clients, because we track it, that's what we saw. I know with paid ads, you can target who sees them. How about with organic social media?
It's you can guide your keywords and the things that you say. So the algorithms work like this. They're like Mother Russia. They listen to you in your sleep. They listen to every word you say and they watch you. And then I uploads everything into the SEO so that whatever you say can be tracked. So if you're talking about how you love the Tuscan, Arizona airport, and that is like your market, people going through that airport, you just always talk about that, then it will go only primarily to those people until you start to go more viral. And the more viral you are, the more it splits off from your specific niche. So that is the bonus of targeted marketing, paid marketing. But the downside is just that the cost is extreme, like you guys said. And I don't know more than one person that actually is profitable unless, and here's where it changes, you have brand recognition. Now, this is one of the most important aspects and why people lose money with ads is because they don't have that brand recognition. And so if you are Tom Cruise selling your how to become a famous actor masterclass, you're going to sell because everybody knows that Tom is legit. They understand the value in what he does. They understand his brand and they want it. But if you're Joe Schmo trying to sell a local product with ads, forget it. People don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you yet. And
Right.
you can eventually profit, but you have to just keep going. And it's to the point where people, if they don't, gosh, the stat I heard from my social media mentor who makes 20 million a year is if you don't get heard for 7 hours, 7 hours, if you don't get heard and watched for 7 hours, people aren't going to want to buy. That's a lot of content. So if you're trying to do
Yeah.
7 hours on ads, oh my gosh, that bill's going to be huge. Organic's the way.
So I know some people personally that don't want to put their face out there, but they want to get their brand out there. How do you suggest they do that?
Sure. It can. Personal brand works faster. And that's why the personal brand is pushed so much. You can get so much more exposure, so much quicker, and trust is built so much faster with a face. A face means so much to the world. Now, there's a few exceptions to this. So people love seeing a face and they connect with a face. But if you have, like, say, a really interesting attention grabbing campaign for a business that is all about your oh gosh, I'm struggling with my language here. Let's say you run a meme campaign for your business. You'll get a lot of traffic, but you won't get a lot of trust. So you have to figure out the balance of how much traffic versus how much trust do I want. You do a talking video where you're speaking to the camera, doing that selfie video, walking around talking, you're going to get a lot more trust because people see you. You don't edit it as much. It's just you. You do a podcast, people see you, but the views are lower. You do something super viral where it's a meme, everybody can relate to it. It hits home. You're going to get a ton of traffic, but then you have to figure out a balance. And what I do is I guide people through a variety of content. And I say, you should do maybe that meme marketing, or maybe you should do something that's a little bit more relatable to everyone. And I have all these different buckets of content, different approaches. Do something that's funny, do something that's interesting, do something where you relate to people, do something then where you're the authority and you're teaching and calling them to action, to take an action. And when you bring it all together, then you have this seemingly glass box where people can see into your life. They only see what you want them to see, but they can
Right.
then experience, wow, I see them. I see that this is authentic. It's real. They're fun. They're funny. They made me laugh. They made me cry. Challenged me. I want to work with them. And that's the power of that personal brand. Whereas if you're only one dimensional, you might get a lot of views, but you won't get a lot of people that actually want to sign up for a long time. Choose your trade-offs. That's why we recommend personal brand, but we help people do anything. And now with AI, you can make an AI avatar your personal brand. And I have a client that's doing this, and they went from 0 to 12.5 thousand followers and 2 million views in 30 days. That is
Wow.
outrageous.
So I've heard using AI videos instead of authentic videos can break people's trust. What's your opinion on that?
Well, downloads are not the same thing as views, but I'm proud of him for getting the one thing figured out, because that's the hard part. The downloads will come. He first needed to put a link in his bio in order to get people to his website. But there's so many details to this. It's just that as much as AI breaks down trust, it causes attention. So you just need to you need a guide, really. And that's why I do what I do. I'm not just a done for you social media expert. I'm a coach. I guide people through, like you guys do. You guys guide people through business. I guide people through, how do you literally make a business famous? How do you make something go viral? How do you get your face out there and become a known entity where people like, know, and trust you? Because there's so much to it. If you just try to take a stab at it, you might get the one thing figured out. Like a lot of people that come to me with 500,000 followers, which has happened, I think, 3 times at this point, where they knew how to get their face out there. They didn't know how to sell something really often, or they might have figured out one thing, but not the other. So usually that's why you
Right.
want a guide.
Well, we can't all be experts at everything. So there's also a difference between followers and actual buyers, meaning there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of followers, but not many of those are actual customers.
Yes. I always ask people, how did you get your followers? Because that is a key question. And people have,
Buybots.com.
yeah. Well, now actually, if you really want to know, you have to go onto Russian sites, and there's all these Russian ninjas that get you followers. You have to pay in crypto. It's really bizarre. I totally know how to do all of it. Don't recommend normally, but sometimes. But no, a lot of it is worthless, and very few people actually know how to make this profitable. A lot of people just want to have that credibility through social media, which that actually is valuable in itself. Just having a lot of followers,
Right.
having a lot of likes and views, because people see you, they're like, okay, they're legit. I would buy from them. But the value truthfully comes when you know how to do all of it. When you know how to take someone from hearing about you to getting through those videos, getting them to binge watch what you're doing, and then getting them into that funnel to want to be interested and buy. That takes a lot of work. I don't recommend trying to do that all on your own. That's hefty. But
Well, and
if
the
you
rules
can do
change every
that,
day.
the rules change every day. Yeah, that's the other worst part, which means your funnel has to change, which means your content has to change. You have to change. You're no longer
Yeah.
going to be interesting to people 6 months from now. You have to become unique and interesting with the same message that still applies to them. You have to use AI to actually ride that panda bear through Panda Express or something. I don't know. Just get creative with whatever you want to do. That's how you get people to stick around. And that's how you get people long term to build trust, to get to know you. It's like dating, and then get them, get to that point where you pop the question and they say yes.
Hey, well, I'm by no means an expert at this, but My understanding is the algorithms are changing all the time, getting smarter.
Mm.
And again, my understanding is the algorithms are getting smarter at weeding out the BS, fake followers, views, whatever, and trying to keep it real, right? Like it was just don't quote me on this, but like a give or take 6 months ago, where all of a sudden all the views on YouTube just dropped like crazy because the algorithm changed to when you view it once, it's a view. If someone views it like 100 times, it's still only one view, not 100 views. So the
Yeah.
bots disappeared. So my question for you is this, without going into crazy detail, but just high level, and A, I think it'd be interesting for everybody to hear, but B, I think it'll help share your expertise is like, what's the algorithm doing to separate like you pay somebody in Russia to get you a bunch of views or followers, or the bots do or whatever? Like, how's the algorithm know the difference? And what's the advantage? Like, what does that look like?
My friend, Mother Russia is watching. Literally, okay, this is horrible. This is terrifying. So on Meta, there's a setting with your phone where it watches you. It watches your reactions. It watches to see how engaged you are. Yeah. Like through your camera, through your vibrations. Like, are you
Wait,
laughing?
wait, wait. I got to get some scotch tape. One sec.
It's horrifying. You can turn it off. Yeah, no kidding. They literally watch you and they want to see how engaged you are. The algorithms constantly do change, but there are still some key metrics to look for on every algorithm, every platform. So here's what they are. They're the click-through rate, which means how good is your thumbnail? Is your thumbnail scroll stopping where people would want to click on it? If it actually catches people's attention in a loud sea of chaos where everyone wants your attention, that's a huge opportunity. That tells the algorithms, okay, people are interested in this. And then it's watch time. How long are people watching it? And then for Meta, how creepily engaged are they in that video? Are
Hmm.
they picking their nose while they're watching this? Maybe that's an algorithm metric. Are they
Is it
like
just your
really zoned
newborn
in?
kid playing with your phone, clicking
Yes.
buttons?
Oh gosh. You never know. That's terrifying, but that's real. But you really have to figure out, how do I get them to click on it and how do I get them to keep watching? And when they watch, are they going to go and watch other pieces of content, or are they going to engage with that content? So YouTube and is different because it's long form, whereas short form is a little bit different. Here's the differences to give you an idea of whatever niche y'all are in. So if you're in short form, they are looking for, can you get people to engage and watch and binge that content and go visit that profile? And there's different values for the metrics of engagement. There's values like, how often are they coming back to that channel? How often are they rewatching that content? Are they liking, which is good, but that's not a big deal. Are they being vulnerable and leaving a long comment? Not just a love this, but like, hey, I don't really like the point you think. Well, social media, they don't say that. Be like, I don't blanking like that. This is
Yeah, yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
This is evil. Burn America. Whatever horrible thing they have to say. That's really social media. And if they see that people are enraged, oh man, that's real. I always draw out the haters. So if I get hate on something I post, I try to provoke more out of them because it'll go viral. Yeah, I had a month where I got 1 million views just playing around with the haters and having fun with it. Have fun.
Boy, you just opened Pandora's box, my friend.
Oh yeah, rage bait is such a big deal on social media. If you can get people to feel something strongly, and this is what I always go after, if you can make them feel something, then you can motivate them. So really the thing that distinguishes most content creators, that they might get views, they might get this, they might get that, from the people that actually make money on it, is the ones that are good, you can feel it. Like it resonates with you, and that's why you're clicking on it or watching it. Where you see a statement, usually it's a text hook in the top 2/3 that says like, this is how I feel inside. And then it's like a values post of like, I love America, I'm a true blue veteran, whatever it might be. But they make you feel something. And when you feel something, then you are moldable. And this could be very manipulative, but this is how you get them through in the funnel, is you make
Right.
them feel that I need this. I have to have this. I want that. That is worth it. That's going to solve my problem. That's going to make my life better. And we're going to see breakthrough in our business through that. And all of a sudden they take action. So if you can get them to feel that, then you can get them to move and take action, and you can open up that wallet wide.
So bad comments are not bad?
It's are amazing, actually. They can really help. And the best part about a bad comment too is you can get super fans to defend you. And then everybody wants to see it. And people are like, what's the beef? I got to see the beef. This is really common on
Right.
Facebook, where it's a personal Facebook and someone lashes out at someone else, and then all of their close friends gang up, and you see a
Right.
Facebook fight. And that's where you find out, first off, where your true friends are. And then that's also
Right.
where you see that, like, it's going to get so much engagement. It might not get as many likes as it will just people chiming in and sharing their worthless, but you'll see that all over Facebook. That's social media for you. It's a whole bunch of trolls and haters, and people love hating. And you can use that if you want to.
So you don't want to play it safe?
Yeah, no, you don't ever want to play it safe. You want to stand out. And if I could give a little roadmap of how to succeed and go viral, you want to provoke, good or bad, hopefully good. You want to provoke attention. You want to maintain that attention, and then you have to bring people back. So how do you bring people back? Well, you be recognizable, and you do something where you're clickable again. So I have a friend who has a fish on his hat, and he has like just this really interesting mustache, and he has 1 million subscribers because of this, because he's instantly recognizable.
So
Nobody else on
is the
earth.
mustache in the shape of a fish?
I should tell him to get the fish mustache, the fish
Right.
stash. It's not, but he should do that. That would be amazing. But if you can be instantly recognizable, you can go wildly viral. I had a video of a girl this last year that it got 40 million views. And the reason being is because the first frame, the thumbnail, this is most important with, she had the wildest outfit. This is the gold medal Paralympian I mentioned. So she had her hair like two like pigtails, Princess Leia style almost, and then her hair's red, and then she has this like track number plastered on her leg in this leotard that's bright and interesting, and then she had like paint on her face, and then she had sparkles, and it was interesting to look at. And then on top of that, the background was red. And so what I've seen is usually people go more viral, not even because of the content, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
It's actually because of how much they stand out and get clicked on right away. And then if you can just keep their attention somehow with something interesting, you can kill it. So if you're looking for something simple, get a bright shirt and look a little different. Maybe just even like a little, I don't know if y'all have seen Hormozy, Alex Hormozy. He's got that little football thing on his nose. He stands
The
out and he's
breed, right.
instantly recognizable. Find something that is your instantly identified marker. And the more you do that physically, you can get sounds like sound branding, like Netflix has the da-dong. That's a signature sound that makes it instantly recognizable. And you can get so much viral traffic just having those markers.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So have something out there that's recognizable that grabs their attention and sucks them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are reasons for it to suck people in. Understanding those reasons, like I'll give you a few, can really suck people in. First off, people want something on social media. And I studied people for a long time. I studied myself for a long time, what I wanted. And if you figure out core desires of what are people on social media for, usually they're lonely. They want to belong. If you show that you're with friends, like if you think about the top performing content on the internet, it's people with friends. It's people that they're doing something exciting. Well, a lot of people think their lives are boring. A lot of people think nobody really cares that much about them. And if you can
So they're living
shift that narrative,
vicariously through the social media platform.
that's exactly it. You can invite people to have the life they've always wanted through your content. And that is what shifts people and makes them want what you have.
Jeremy, like as an example, I'm part of a networking group and there's conversation sometimes about, hey, you got to get out there and put yourself out there, right? Like do little videos or memes or whatever it is, right? And lots of them are always saying, oh, I'm afraid to go on camera and it's not going to look right. It needs to look professional. And what's your advice or feedback on that or perspective?
Yeah, just do it. Just start. Something's better than nothing. Quality always helps, but most people think they have to buy a nice camera to get online, and that's not the case. Just get on your phone. Your iPhone's good enough. If you really want a nicer camera, there's this $40 piece of equipment you can buy. Just look it up on Amazon, where you can have your screen projected on this other screen that's a magnet, and you can just fit it right on the back of your phone. And then that way, you can do selfie style, your high quality camera and see yourself because the front
So you
camera's
can
not as good as the back.
stick it on the front of the phone on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really is a game changer. But most people, they're just self conscious, they're afraid. It's really a vulnerable experience and it challenges a lot of emotional pains in people's hearts to actually have to go on the internet and put themselves out there and they're afraid of rejection. So honestly, I look at this as an emotional issue and you know the value because you see it. You see people every day online that are doing well and you want that.
Yeah.
But your barrier is you feel like will reject you or say something mean about you. And my encouragement is stop thinking about it and just do it. And there's really
Yeah.
not much of a better medicine than just exposure therapy in this regard.
And talk about what you know.
Yeah,
That builds
absolutely.
confidence, right? And then you're not worried about, like, if there's backlash, if you're talking about something you know and you're an expert at it, you're not worried about the backlash. You can argue it, you can defend it.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
the
Good
the
advice.
best thing you can do is model someone that's already succeeding that you recognize with. Model someone that you like. Look at what they're doing and do exactly what they're doing. Copy them. Copy what they say in the videos, copy what they do, and all of a sudden you don't even have to think about it. You're just doing what they do. It worked for them. They put $1 million into their strategy. I think it'll work for you.
So R&D, it's always, people always think it stands for research and development, but it really stands for rip off and duplicate.
Yeah, pretty much. Be China. Replicate all sorts of crap. They're succeeding.
But Jeremy, a two-pronged question. Small business that maybe is just assuming right now listening to this, they can't afford you. That's an assumption in their head, right?
Yeah.
So two-pronged question. One, if you can first answer, like, what are some of your price tiers? Like, people can get in for as little as this much a month. And earlier you'd said like $500 a month. So right there, I'm going to say, like, and almost every small business can afford that. But then the second part of the question, if you can then maybe suggest for those who maybe don't feel like they can afford this or get into it yet, what are some kind of quick tools they can download to help themselves with, say, editing or things like that?
I would say that everybody can afford my week complimentary trial. So everybody's welcome. And beyond that, I have 2 tracks. It's either done with you or done for you. And for those that cannot afford yet with their budget and justify the done for you, which is more expensive because we're doing work, that's where it starts out at the $497. But if you want to do the done with you, I have a whole step-by-step blueprint on how to make your business famous. And it's a self-guided, done with you AI masterclass where you can have a group mastermind with me every week where we can work on developing your social media, work on developing your brand, work through all the different tools that you'll need to succeed. In this case, it would be CapCut because it has templates where it makes videos for you. You just drop the footage in and you have content that can go viral. For me, I would say if I created this course, so just trying to think from your perspective, business owner, and trying to think in your shoes, I wanted a solution that was affordable that anyone could succeed with. And so that's why I created my masterclass because I want to help people actually overcome. And I've seen that it really has helped people. We've had several students that have taken off. One student that got to 5,000 followers within just a few months from zero. Another student that got to 2,000 followers within just 30 days. And then other students that they just posted. They just posted a picture of them and their wife. And that was a big deal. I'm so proud of you, Lee. Well done. Keep posting. But it really, my goal is always, how do I help you succeed and make money? And that's the whole focus of it. So we have all sorts of things we can teach you, but we take the time to listen when you get into those programs, whichever they are, and we guide you on the track that we've seen with 1,200 plus clients would actually help you to make money quickly.
Okay, so wait. So done for you, you have different levels. You're saying the opening price point of done for you is $497 a month, which is like super affordable, right, for a small business.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that the masterclass, the done with you, is even less than that?
The done with you is even less than that.
Yeah, so it's a no-brainer for any small business. And again, I don't like promoting marketable digital companies because they just don't, like, from our experience, they don't work out. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it'd be hard to
really
lose
good.
money. Like you'd really have to ignore everything I teach you being a part of that $97 a month course. I think you could easily get a
$100
return
a
on that.
month. Wow. Okay. And maybe would this be fair to say, like, so a business owner who might be hesitant or apprehensive, might be a better word, could start with that $97 one, and as it builds some confidence, then can bump to the whichever one above that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We scale with our clients. So
Okay,
wherever you're at, we want to help
good
you
to know.
succeed. And we've had clients that have started out at the 97 and then gone up, and now their business is doing better, and they don't have to be the ones to manage everything, because it really is a trade-off of time versus money. If you don't have time, if you don't have the money, put in the time. If you don't have the time, that's where you need to hire us to do it for you.
Right. Very cool. So, Jeremy, before we do a wrap up, our producer likes to send us a couple of quick questions just for the audience to get to know us. A little bit of, like you say, trust. They're just random questions. I haven't seen them yet. They're on my phone, and we just take quick turns answering them. Let me grab them. So, Jeremy, question. If you could time travel, so that'd be interesting, with your business skills, which era would you conquer and how? Wow.
I think I would probably conquer 10 years from now when robots have taken over, and I would give people jobs. That's
Oh,
what I
good
would do.
answer. Wow. That was a good answer. I'm not even going to answer, and I'm just going to steal that. That was really good. Probably the other one would be, I'm going to go back to the Wild West. I would do the Wild West. Jeremy, awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate you joining us, sharing some insights. I hope the listener got a lot out of this, because I know I did, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the More Profit, Less Stress podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform, and leave a comment or review, as it helps with the algorithm. To learn more about us and what we do, check out our website. Until next time, go make it happen.